That's inspirational and invigorating call to arms. Does anybody have any questions or experiences that they are happy to share around the issue of getting the message across and doing the training of peace? They perhaps encountered.
Just a quickie, we missed out competition and cake. That word. We missed out competition and cake.
Cake works well, biscuits work well. Yeah, bribery actually works well.
That's basically what it is.
The more swag you can pick up at conferences and then go back to distribute among your colleagues, the more they will take your word for it when you tell them something they don't want to hear. It's as though the act of distributing free pens actually contributes to their professional respect for you. It's a funny thing, but it does work.
Well, I suppose today, Glasgow City Council have been very generous on the NATCO on the piece of paper and bags front, so IRMS calls on the chocolate front. So yeah, helps out. I don't want to take it home anyway, especially the chocolate.
Yeah, swag works, competition works, bribery works. Sitting there with a box of tissues, passing them out, going, yes, they're there, I understand, it's going to be terrible. How can I help you? Works. I'll share something that I put together at my last job, which was, it occurred to me that everybody loves pirates, right? And there are 8 data protection principles, which obviously lend itself to there being pieces of 8. So put together a pirate game where you had to, you've got a board and you move around the board, and if you land on a flag you get a question, and if you get the answer right, either you can move your little hat forward 1 piece, or you can move somebody else backwards, which actually turned out to be far more popular than moving forwards. And then you had kind of surprise event cards where, oh no, Jim the cabin boy has been sending marketing emails for his parrot seed business to your whole crew. You know, move back a space unless you can identify the law that he's in breach of. That sort of scenario-based, competitive, fun games went down really well. Had people say after the training, oh, was that training? I didn't realise, I thought we were just having a laugh. Any other questions?
It's not a question, it's following up. You mentioned competition. You're not going to like this bit because I'm going to talk about a rollout of mandatory e-learning training. That I worked for Network Rail and I was only peripherally involved in this, but it was ethics e-learning training. The rollout was quite difficult until we got senior managers competing amongst themselves. And once that happened, when they were reporting up and comparing their results, the results from that were absolutely amazing. Ended up with basically 99% of 38,000 employees doing it. Would have never happened again. Maybe it's another way of calling it, is senior buy-in, but the competition aspect was crucial.
Oh, definitely, especially among senior management, I found that's the case.
It was e-learning, it was pretty cursory.
That brings me to a thing that I thought about, metrics. If you've got metrics for the number of people who've clicked through an e-learning module, that's not necessarily a good indicator of how well educated they are about the content of it. The number of incidents per head count, that's an interesting one. So if you have lots of minor incidents, a few moderate ones and no major ones, you're probably in a really healthy place because you've got a good reporting culture but nothing horrific's going on. If you've got only major incidents, then you probably need to do some work on educating people on what incidents actually are, because chances are there's 10 million of them going on every day and they're just not being reported. So when you're looking at culture change, looking at changing the metrics you're using to measure culture change, and going, if you can, for more qualitative ones than quantitative. So how many people do you hear around the water cooler discussing data protection? If the answer is 0, then maybe put some posters up near the water cooler.
I think that's a very good point in terms of, measurement is a very useful tool, but are we measuring the right things? Are we gauging that maturity of our understanding across the organisation around this piece. And I think too often organisations are keen on the e-learning solution as the one-stop shop, and they don't see it as part of a mixed solution that needs to target various things. Anybody else have any questions or observations? Yes, Sarah.
In terms of measurement, I would just kind of to reinforce it's important to make sure that the message is understood appropriately. So we report breaches and they're reported to senior management, and obviously some people are very pleased that they don't have breaches, and some people are quite devastated that, oh my goodness, there's lots of breaches happening, and there's not lots, there are breaches happening in our areas. We are reassured when people are telling us about breaches, because at least they are recognising them, and it shows that there's an embedded culture there. And if you have an area that is apparently not breaching at all, I'm not particularly reassured by that as a metric.
I think that's probably a point that in terms of your role as management, you do have to strike a balance between stressing to your workforce that information security is really important, try and get it right without making them so terrified that if something goes wrong, they're scared to report it. So it's getting a balance between take this really seriously, but by the way, if something goes wrong, we need to know so we can contain and recover the information and try and resolve this. So it's getting that balance right.
There is a concept called a just culture, which is individuals are not punished for genuine mistakes or systemic management errors, so they should never be afraid to report stuff because they're not going to be scapegoated. I mean, there's a whole load of stuff around it. I would definitely advise Googling just culture and seeing how far you can adopt those principles in incident reporting. Any more questions?
Could I ask a question about the kind of lessons learned process within organisations after an incident? What's been your experience, or do you have any kind of tips around that in terms of perhaps improving the outcomes of a lessons learned process?
People love a horror story. Yeah, the more horror stories you can tell and get discussion on, the better. And it's important to tell those in a way that doesn't make anyone feel stupid or picked on, and to identify the kind of systemic issues around it. So, for example, someone goes on holiday and they text someone else their password because the IT delegated authority process is too cumbersome to set up. So the individual was just doing the best that they could with what they had. And so if you tell that as, oh, this person did something really stupid, then that's not really going to achieve your aim. But if you say, okay, so what are the issues here, and what are the ideas for resolving those issues and preventing it? A, you might actually get somewhere with improving things, and B, people are going to think twice before they text their passwords when they go on holiday. They might even plan before they go on holiday to let the IT desk know that somebody else needs access to their emails. That would be a win. So yeah, lessons learned is really important, and knowledge management. So maybe having, I don't know, a wiki or a discussion group where people can share lessons learned in a safe environment is really, really helpful.
Yeah, because I think, as you say, it's not just the formal reporting of lessons learned or the interview with the individual or whatever. It's actually how you share that knowledge and get that knowledge transfer to deliver or help deliver your culture change that you're trying to make.
Can I make a further observation?
Please do.
I used to work for a local authority. We had a data breach incident. ICO got involved. It ended in the signing of an undertaking and an offer from the ICO of an audit. That audit drove such positive organisational change that I commend it really to almost anyone I talk to, provided you're not completely going to expose yourself if you look like that. But it was tremendously helpful, and that was, if that incident hadn't happened and we hadn't wanted to learn from it, the improvements wouldn't have happened. That said, I've heard, not as a result of me leaving, but since I left, apparently things have kind of got a bit worse again. So there's almost an argument you need a regular breach just to kind of
I think you agree that's been a very helpful session, so thank you, Rowan, again. So if you just like to join me.